Scaramucci just went on TV to reveal huge secret about Bannon and Trump. The mooch is back and firing off his mouth at 100 miles a minute once again. Today he went on ABC and went on one of his legendary rants. You know, the same kind that got Reince Priebus fired? Anyway, so there was Scaramucci talking to George Stephanopoulos when they started talking about Trump's response to Charlottesville and, of course, Steve Bannon. That's when the mooch dropped this bombshell he may have gotten from Trump himself. Scaramucci said President Trump is going to fire Steve Bannon because he is a leaker. Scaramucci slams Trump's Charlottesville statement. Bannon, Bart, Wing. Let's take a quick listen here.
First interview since you left the White House. I have to start with the president's statement yesterday. If you were White House Communications Director yesterday, would you advise he give that statement?
Well, I wouldn't have recommended that statement. I think he needed to be much harsher as it related to the white supremacists and the nature of that. I applaud General McMaster for calling it out for what it is. It's actually terrorism, and whether it's domestic or international.
I was just going to say he's a butt kisser at this point from what just came out of his mouth, but let's continue, sorry.
Terrorism. With the moral authority of the presidency, you have to call that stuff out.
The question is, why didn't the president do that? You know him well.
Well, I think Alex mentioned one of the reasons why he doesn't like doing that. He likes doing the opposite of what the media thinks he's going to do. I think he's also of the impression that there is hatred on all sides, but I disagree with it. And so, but here's the thing, whether I was the White House Communications Director or not, I don't think you're going to change the president. The president's going to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, but I think it's important for the people around him, George, to give them direct advice, to be blunt with him. I think he respects bluntness and he respects candor, and I certainly would have never suggested him doing that.
But is there anyone in the White House right now who said, boy, you just made a real mistake there?
I think people are probably reluctant to tell him the truth. Maybe Ivanka would do that. You saw her tweet this morning. Maybe Jared would do that. But you also got this sort of Bannon-Bart influence in there, which I think is a snag on the president. If he really wants to execute that legislative agenda that I think is so promising for the American people, the lower middle class people and the middle class people, then he has to move away from that sort of Bannon-Bart nonsense.
You mean Bannon and Breitbart?
Oh yeah, the whole thing is nonsensical. It's not serving the president's interest. He's got to move more into the mainstream. He's got to be more into where the moderates are and the independents are, George, that love the president. And so if he does that, he'll have a very successful legislative agenda that he'll be able to execute. And if he doesn't do that, you're going to see this inertia, and you're going to see this resistance from more of the establishment senators that he needs to curry favor with.
You've been tough on Steve Bannon. Does he have to go?
Well, I think the president knows what he's going to do with Steve Bannon.
Which is what?
Well, let's leave it up to the president. It's his decision. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the president has a very good idea of who the leakers are inside the White House. The president has a very good idea of the people that are undermining his agenda that are serving their own interests.
They include Steve Bannon?
Well, yeah, look, I mean, we're not on a phone call and a tape phone call. And
there you have it. After blaming Bannon several times for White House discord, the mooch said, I think the president knows what he's going to do with Steve Bannon. Let's leave it up to the president. It's his decision, but at the end of the day, the president has a very good idea of who the leakers are inside the White House. Now, before you jump to Bannon's defense, think back. When the mooch was still at the White House, he went on a rant about the self-serving Reince Priebus and Steve Bannon being possible leakers. A week later, Reince was gone. What happened next? McMaster kicked all of Bannon's people out of the National Security Council. After that, Trump publicly declared his faith in McMaster. Since then, no major intel leaks. Look, there is no proof that Bannon is a leaker. His service is at the pleasure of the president. However, all the pieces are moving into their places, and it does not look good for the former Breitbart editor. I don't know what to make of all of this, but it seems like Scaramucci is like he actually is going now, again, the way the mainstream wants him to speak. You see the difference now? And he's saying like the president should be like the mainstream wants him to be, which that's not Trump. He condemned how Trump spoke. Excuse me? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because this is kind of weird over here with Scaramucci's take on